on it, 3C, Chris over at 3C Films, I like watching his videos, and I haven't seen this one yet, and it's his, I guess, his reaction and some news on the little clip that we got earlier this morning, so let's check this out.
Have finally revealed our first look at the new Tom Holland Spider-Man suit for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and as soon as I saw this little reveal in my little spider heart, all I could think was,
I was thinking the same thing.
So what I'm going to be doing here for you guys real quick is breaking down this little 20-second teaser where they've basically revealed 80% of the new Spider-Man suit, what changes they have made from the suit at the end of No Way Home, because it looks like they were actually trying to capture the style of that same suit. Looking at the new web shooters, what the mask could look like, when we could actually get a look at the mask, that and a lot of
I guess you do get a little glimpse of the web shooters.
Let me know, is this now automatically the best Tom Holland Spider-Man suit? Because I'm going to say it is to me. Unless that mask is something absolutely awful and atrocious,
that's funny.
This is now my favorite
it's a
Tom
pretty good
Holland
looking
Spider-Man suit. But please let me know your opinions down below.
Hold on a second. I didn't even notice. If you look on his wrist right here, 100% you can see the new web shooters. They look like he got some serious tech involved in with those. But the suit, I mean, the suit does look incredible. I love how they brought the blue back. In the last movie, it was like red and black, right? And then I was saying before how the symbol was a lot smaller up until this point, and he met Toby and Andrew and their iterations of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So it makes sense that he would get some inspired by their outfits, incorporate some of that stuff. Maybe some of the tech for his new web shooters, maybe there's some Andrew Garfield in there. But the raised webbing on the outfit is 100% Tobey Maguire. And like I said, I just found out this morning, I never paid that much attention to Andrew Garfield's iteration, but his outfit also has the raised webbing.
Favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man suit. But please let me know your opinions down below. Okay, so yesterday we got the little tease for
we
the
watched
suit
this
where
earlier.
They just kind of gave us the shoulder, a bit of the chest, and a lot of us, including myself, were just excited we were getting raised webbing. That's something Tom Holland suits have never had, and I think it just adds a lot of texture,
it looks
personality,
good.
And
it's
even
crisp.
our guesses of it basically being the suit from the end of No Way Home ended up being correct thanks to this little teaser. It starts off with Tom Holland's suit from the
It's more blue, I think, right? It's more blue. But, I mean, that looks good, too. That looks great. I remember when this was at the end of No Way Home, and they revealed this suit he had just stitched together himself, and this is a more street-level suit, if you will. It doesn't have any of the Stark tech involved with it. But Peter Parker, I mean, he's a genius himself, and he's incorporating his own tech into the outfit now, which is incredible.
The end of No Way Home ended up being correct thanks to this little teaser. It starts off with Tom Holland on a soundstage about to begin filming, which they are gearing up for that now. We're getting set photos of those
they're over in Glasgow
moving and knocking down other cars on the street.
They're over in Glasgow, and how many blocks did they close down? Like 14 or 15 blocks over in England and they made it it all looked like New York City, and they brought all these New York City police officer vehicles in, and this up-armored vehicle that you see right here on the screen, there was a symbol, he might even touch on this, there's a symbol that they spotted on it that directly connects to Mr. Negative, who, he was the villain in the first Spider-Man game. And I forget his original name, but he has these powers, and he looks like a negative on film. And he's a very powerful villain, and there's been a lot of reports that he's definitely going to be in this movie, 100%.
And that's a big reason why Sony revealed the suit in this professional manner, because we're about to get set photos galore and all kinds of different angles of this suit. So the mask reveal is soon approaching, as well as a look at the back. Because I think a lot of us are wanting Spider-Man back shots. You know I am. But now just taking a look at the actual footage and what we have, I'm liking.
That makes a lot of sense that there's already leaks and set footage. I mean, because they're filming in the middle of a city, and they're going to be filming all this stuff on location, and they're getting ready to do scenes with Spider-Man, right? And whether it be Tom Holland or a stunt double, this suit is going to be seen. And instead of having, us fans getting the first look from a paparazzi photo, Sonny was just like, hey, let's just give them a taste, right? Let's just give them a little taste, let them taste it, see how they like it, and it'll make a ton of sense with all the leak stuff we're about to get here soon. So,
in this slow piano theme of the Tom Holland Spider-Man score.
I like
we got
that.
it in the little teaser
Yeah, I like
yesterday,
that.
and we have it added on here as well.
We ready?
I'm ready.
And it gets
Comes
me a
out
little
1
emotional
year
as a Spider-Man
from
fan. We're
yesterday, or
entering
a
an
couple
era
days
where
ago.
we're getting another big Spider-Man movie. Tom Holland is returning for a 4th time, which is a first for a solo Spider-Man movie. We have never gotten to a 4th solo film. This beautiful suit, all in all,
I like
it's enough to
Mysterio.
make a
Mysterio
grown
is
man
cool.
cry, all right? But once I got past
Mysterio I think he's a very underrated villain. He's way cooler than, he's done some pretty amazing stuff in the comic books. He was the catalyst to why Wolverine completely slaughtered all the X-Men. He made Wolverine believe that they were, with his hallucination technology, he made Wolverine think that all the X-Men were villains, and Wolverine went around and slaughtered all of them. But that's besides the point. We're getting a little sidetracked. Mysterio is cool. I love Mysterio. Bring him back.
my emotions involved with this. Looking at the suit, yes, it basically is an updated version of the suit that we got at the
Love
end
it.
of No
I
Way
do. I
Home,
love it.
with some major changes. For one, the suit at the end of No Way Home did not have raised webbing. We know this one does, and it's very subtle. If you look at like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, it has
The design is similar too. The design is similar. Like the way the red kind of goes down and up underneath his arms. Very similar, but the webbing is more spread out on Tom Holland's outfit. I think it looks way better. I like the spider better too. To be honest, I do. I think the spider's badass. Spider looks great. And then in that other video we got, when we got the real close details of the outfit, the fabric looks great too. Everything looks great.
has the raised webbing, but there's a lot of lines, like a lot of them. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it definitely stands out. Here, they spaced out the lines the perfect amount. They are actually visible.
100%.
They shine good in the light. When Tom Holland's turning in this, the suit is glistening
100%.
in a way that I think is going to make it look so good on camera. The actual spider symbol is also the same from the end of No Way Home. It looks like maybe they just separated the head from the body, but I do love this
Yeah, a little
spider
bit.
symbol, and I'm glad they didn't go back to the
Web
tiny
shooters.
symbol on his chest. This feels unique to Tom Holland, so
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
happy that he has that, and hopefully he has that on the back. Another change that I'm very
Yep.
happy with is the blue is a bit of a darker blue.
Yes.
I wasn't too
I mentioned that before. When the last scene we got in No Way Home, that was a very bright blue, and like it didn't look bad, right? I thought it looked incredible, but them toning it down a little bit, and who knows? It might actually be brighter on screen. They might brighten this thing up to be more in line with what we got in the last movie. I like how it looks in the lighting that they got here and the way it looks. The darker blue, definitely a good choice.
against the light blue at the end of No Way Home.
And it's almost reflective, right? That blue right there, that blue's almost reflective. I don't like the reflective. We need more of a matte color. But anyway, sorry, I keep interrupting you, Chris.
The
My
body,
bad.
but I do love this spider symbol, and I'm glad they didn't go back to the tiny symbol on his chest. This feels unique to Tom Holland, so I'm happy that he has that, and hopefully he has that on the back. Another change that I'm very happy with is the blue is a bit of a darker blue. I
Yes.
wasn't too against the light blue at the end of No Way Home, but it was just a little too light and a little too
Yeah,
silky looking. I know some people loved it. I was
reflective.
just always kind of iffy on it. I think going to this version where it's not as silky, but it does have a
Silky.
texture feel to it similar to the TASM suit. You can kind of notice it again when Tom Holland's turning and some of the light.
You can see some of the details in the arm right here. And it's slightly reflective, but nowhere near like the road cone reflective level that other outfit was.
Hits it. It's not really silky. It's kind of feels more a little bit of that rubbery material. And I love that. I think this is the perfect shade of blue and it complements
Yeah,
the
it
red
looks good.
very nicely. And oh
Looks
boys,
good.
thank goodness they didn't ruin the belt. That's always the thing that can make or break a Spider-Man suit. And the belt is perfect, clean, cut,
Mm-hmm.
classic.
Looks
Like,
good.
this suit looks so freaking good.
Looks
Easily my
good.
favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man suit. They nailed it with this one. I'm glad they didn't go
Yeah, we
overcomplicated.
like
And
it.
it's gonna suck the next movie
We
if they
like it.
change it, but we'll see. Maybe this director is like fighting Marvel and saying, no, can we have him stay in this suit for the whole trilogy? Because I'd be okay with that. But all right, let's talk about probably the most controversial part of this suit. As I was zooming in and
Oh,
looking
he's
at Tom Holland's crotch to make sure Sony got the belt for this Spider-Man right, my eyes averted to something pretty big. We have new web shooters for this Spider-Man. And yeah, look, I get it. People are not gonna love these. They are bulky, big, stick out, and kind of ruin a
That's
little
pretty
bit of the
funny.
suit, making it 99% perfect right now. But I'm already kind of justifying this in my mind, and I feel it's gonna work out story-wise. So we know web shooters has always been kind of an important part of Spider-Man. It's a
Well,
thing that the movie could use to its advantage. Because what happens when Spider-Man runs out of web fluid or his shooters get destroyed?
yep.
He has to get a little bit more creative with his fighting. It's always something fun that they can do. Tom Holland now is in a situation where he's broke. He's struggling. I can't wait to see what job he has to make ends meet.
I still love the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and how they had it like this radioactive spider bit him, and not only did it increase his powers and made him cling the walls and give him all these other different spider abilities, but the traditional Spider-Man still had to create his own web. But in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, they made that part of the mutation, and his body creates the web. And they even pointed out in the last movie, No Way Home, they pointed out, and him and Andrew Garfield are both kind of grossed out about it. And I still love that. I think it's the best. But Chris also has a good point that it helps it's a good story element. You know, what happens when he runs out of web fluid or something gets destroyed. They don't have to do an entire movie where he loses his powers and turns emo. You know what I mean? So
How he allocates his money between personal life to Spider-Man stuff, and without a rich billionaire there to give him the most high-tech suit
high
possible,
tech,
where web shooters can be so small and ingrained into his wrist,
right?
this shows me this Spider-Man is working with what he has readily available. You know, Andrew Garfield's version
Bulky.
basically turned a wristwatch into a web shooter. I thought that was a nice detail, and I'm curious if this is like some sort of household device he's turned into web shooters.
Or I almost wonder if maybe it could be based off of some of Andrew Garfield's tech, right? Because, I mean, they spent a bunch of time in the lab. You know, they had more conversations off screen about each other's worlds and how each of them does certain things and the way they create things. You know what I mean? How could they not have had those conversations? So maybe his new web shooters are based off of some Andrew Garfield technology, which would, you know, like this new suit all has elements from the other Spider-Mans that he interacted with. And I think that'd be incredible.
Curious if this is like some sort of household device he's turned into web shooters, and he just doesn't have the money or the equipment to make them as small as he would like, so they're a little bigger. It's really just
I
a
can see
showcase
that.
this is a
I see
Spider-Man
that.
who's gonna be a little less high-tech and I'm all up for it. So that's already kind of the justification in my mind, is these bulky, bigger web shooters are
Yeah.
again going back to the days with his homemade suit, where he had really big and bulky web shooters. So if you think about it, in this version of Peter Parker's line of
Okay.
progress, this is as small as he's gotten with his web shooters. At least web shooters that he's made with his own hands.
He's got a
And you
point.
know what? Even staring at them a little bit more feels like there's some more buttons and almost like a screen to it.
There might be more going on with them, right? There might be more. They're more than just web shooters, or maybe they're just, you know, they're that big because he just got them friggin' loaded with whatever the fluid is that he uses to, you know, the web fluid. They're like, they got the jumbo cartridges, you know what I mean? He got tired of running out all the time, so he upgraded to the jumbo size.
I wonder if he's able to switch the style of web shooters, like, you know, throwing out big puffy balls, maybe a
Ooh.
parachute. Like, maybe there's modes on there, and that's why it has to be big, so Spider-Man can change what kind of web shooters he wants. I wouldn't.
That would go back to, like, is Sony trying to link Tom Holland's Spider-Man to their game Spider-Man even more, right? Because in the game, you know, because it's a game, you upgrade your character, and part of that is upgrading your technology and getting different types of web abilities and web technology, where he had, like, electrified web. He had web grenades where he would throw this grenade and it blow up and web would go all over the place. He had web that would disintegrate quicker than, you know, than a web that he had that wouldn't disintegrate, depending on what he needed it for and how long he needed it to be there. I mean, there's all kinds of different options. So he's got a great point that this is going to be added technology maybe to his web shooters and what he can do with them.
I don't mind seeing that. As long as it's Peter Parker who made the tech and is using it himself, I will be happy. I was just always bothered by Spider-Man being given these $1 million of equipment. It
Me
feels
too.
so much more personal and better to the
Yeah.
character if it's his own.
It was like this version of Peter Parker was swept up so quick after it was within the first year of him getting his powers. Tony Stark was there and was like feeding him suits, feeding him advice, being that father figure. And I mean, Christ, he had access to so much technology, and it was all integrated into his suit, and it kind of felt, no, I don't want to say cheap, but like he cheated a little bit in comparison to all these other Spider-Men. Like, I would have liked to have seen that conversation with all three of the Spider-Men when they're like, yeah, you know, Toby's talking about how he can't pay his rent and he's living in this single apartment hotel. And then Andrew Garfield's talking about how his girlfriend just died and he's struggling day by day. And then he's like, oh, yeah, well, I got this rich dude that pretty much gives me anything I want. And check out this suit. It shoots holograms.
Own equipment. Aside from that, though, like I said, everything else about this suit is screaming perfection to me. The suit part of this is now no longer something I have to worry about. The only other thing is, how does this all play into the movie? Last night, we got the confirmation Scorpion is returning.
I did
Mark
hear
Ruffalo's
that.
The Hulk will be in this movie
Heard that.
alongside the Punisher. A lot of these
And I
journalists are
heard
theorizing
that.
that they'll end up fighting because that's usually what happens in these superhero.
How is that going to work, dude? Spider-Man Brand New Day. We got hints of Mr. Negative. Scorpion. Matt Gargan's Scorpion is going to show up. Bruce Banner, a.k.a. Hulk. Now, I hope that something happens and we get Savage Hulk back somehow. And then we're going to throw the Punisher in here as well. Not to mention, I've heard rumors of Boomerang being in here. And there was one other obscure villain, but I cannot think of his name at the moment.
Crossovers is the heroes fight for a little bit before they make up and face a bigger threat. We have those armored trucks that have the symbol for Mr. Negative on them. Is
Yep.
he a main villain? Tombstone, Boomerang, Tarantula.
Tombstone.
This movie is set.
Tombstone and Tarantula. Though, yeah, I forgot about Tombstone, who played a big role in the recent, what's it called? Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It's a cartoon on Disney Plus. It's actually not too bad. But yeah, Tombstone, Tarantula, Boomerang, Mr. Negative, Scorpion. Ooh, are they building another Sinister Six in this movie? Are we going to have a new Sinister Six in this movie? And because, like, the last movie, they were kind of touching on that, but they still haven't quite got to the full 6 villains, right? And the way they've been playing these villains in these movies, I don't think Spider-Man's going to be able to take on 6 dudes by himself, right? So, of course, you're going to have to get some assistance, and that's where we're going to have the Punisher, and that'll be interesting because we're going to get that same dynamic that we have with the Punisher and Daredevil. You know what I mean? Daredevil doesn't kill, Punisher don't care, and they have a conflict over that. We're going to have the same thing in this, and within all of it, something's going to trigger the Hulk.
Said to be really packed. And it's even funny hearing some people say now that the Hulk is confirmed, it doesn't make it feel like a street level story.
Nah,
I think this perception of the Hulk is both jaded both ways, where I get that the Hulk can be this ultra powerful, like punching planet destroying being, but for a lot of the times the Hulk is usually fighting the army, regular people, causing havoc on the streets. I think the Hulk is that kind of character where you can throw him into space and the story will make sense.
I agree.
Have him be part of a street level story.
I agree, but Marvel also has this issue where they cannot make a direct Hulk film. They cannot make a Hulk film. It has something to do with the distribution rights with Universal Studios. So that's why we haven't gotten a standalone Hulk film. But they're able to use him as a character in all these other movies. So there's been an interview in the past with Mark Ruffalo where he's talked about how Marvel has a plan for his story, but they need to tell his story in sections throughout all these other films. And that's why we don't get a standalone Hulk film. And we get these little mini stories and they jam them into the plot of all these other films.
And it'll make sense. So I'm not too worried about the Hulk ruining then. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But the only thing I'm waiting on now is these set photos. I want to see what this mask looks like, how the lens work, the back of the suit. But even having not seen any of those, best Tom Holland Spider-Man suit.
Very cool.
I'm fighting you on this. Let me know what you guys thought about this suit reveal, what you loved about it, what you think of the web shooters, some of the changes, the confirmation of all these characters now. Anything, everything. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter.
Like and subscribe, absolutely. If you are not subscribed to 3C, I highly recommend that you go to his channel and you do so. I'm subscribed and I like this video. I also recommend that you go and check out the original video, and that way you can hear it for yourself without me yapping all over everything. Good video as always. Love you, Chris. Everything's great. I'm also super, super hyped for Spider-Man. Spider-Man, we're going to get before Doomsday. It's coming out in about a year. Right now, it's set for July 31st, 2026. And then Doomsday will be coming up in that upcoming holiday season around Christmas. So not this Christmas, but next Christmas, we'll get to Doomsday. So between now and then, we're going to have plenty of time to talk about this and figure out what's going on. So don't miss out. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Come check this out. Go check him out. And I'll see you in the next video.